Corgi Classic buses, 1/50th scale Atlantean. But how do you take it to bits? Let's find out. Hi, welcome back to St Blazey Model World. I've already taken apart an EFE bus on the channel, so now I thought it was time to tackle a Corgi 1/50th scale bus, and we've picked the Leyland Atlantean here because this is going to be turned into yet another Code 3. Now, just before we start this work, it's a good time to give you an idea of comparison of scale. And the red bus, of course, we know it's 150. The yellow bus is 176 or 00 gauge, really. And right at the end here, we've got our little N gauge model bus, which is featured in a number of videos. And that's 1 to 148 scale. So they're roughly double the size of each other. Now, as you'll remember from my EFE breakdown video, the first thing I like to do is take photographs of all four sides of the vehicle for detail recreation later on, and to capture the advertising that's on this particular donor model. So we'll do that now. So looking at the underside of this model, there are two small screws at the rear of the model, one here and one here, and I know from experience that all that will do is release the engine compartment that we can see here at the back of the vehicle. But because this is going to be a bare metal respray, those are coming off, and so we'll complete that step now and come back to you shortly. So with those two screws removed, we've got the engine compartment off. You can see it's missing here because it's over here, and there it is. That's the engine cover, and that's going to be a nice easy piece to deal with when it comes to the respray. So in previous breakdowns with EFE buses, we've had a pole running down the front and the rear of the model. But on these Corgi Classics, you can maybe just about make out that there is actually a pole there from the top to the bottom, but there isn't one at the rear of the model, and that's because these come apart slightly differently. Once we've removed the engine cover, you'll notice there's a couple of extra screws here, and these screws were located here and here, and once you take those out, you can actually separate quite easily the decks of the model. So we'll pull these apart and see what we're left with. So I've laid these components out now in the form in which they come apart. Engine compartment first, with the two screws that we saw earlier located underneath. That revealed two more screws, one there and one on the other side, and we've only got one pole here to worry about at the front half of the upper deck. For the lower deck of the vehicle, we now have complete access. We can remove the glazing and the seating, and I'm hoping that with the upper deck it's the same story. So away comes the seating, there is the glazing, and we've got our metal pole that runs right the way through the vehicle. We don't have one at the back. So in common with all my Code 3 projects, this pole is going to be removed. It won't be there when I put the thing back together. And there you have it, the breakdown of an EFE, a breakdown of a Corgi Omnibus Classics OOC 1/50th scale at Leyland Atlantean. Nice and easy. In the next video, we'll look at the painting and the preparation, ready to turn this into a large scale Code 3 model. So for now, for safekeeping, the delicate parts and the small parts, the glazing and the screws are back in the box that the model came in, along with the mirrors. We have our lower deck over here, our top deck, a set of seats for the upper deck, engine compartment and lower deck seating. And we're going to start on the project with the seating, and that'll form part of the next video. That's it. It's been another short one. As usual, time is pressing. Many thanks for viewing. Please remember to subscribe. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.